whatever you think of Sam Seder, tread lightly if you are going to debate him. Take my word for it. I debate for a living. You see me on fault lines. We fight constantly. I think I'm relatively good at it. We have all sorts of people, right-wingers, lefties, libertarians, the works. You have people who are more neoconish. You have people who are less neoconish. I fight with people on the left. Everything in between. Beware of going into the lion's den to debate Sam Seder. He is an exceptionally good debater. And I'm saying this as somebody who greatly disagrees with Seder on various issues that come up, especially in regards to the Democratic Party, and even think on some level I wouldn't be shocked at all if it was found that Sam Seder is this kind of internet aspect of the party, if that makes sense, this kind of back channel of maintaining a certain degree of integrity from the standpoint of the party and keeping people going that way from the standpoint of the left and keeping them attached to the party. Wouldn't be shocked at the least. Nevertheless, still be very wary of having that debate and be very confident in yourself when you are going to do such. But don't do it on a whim. Don't do it on a whim. Tim Black would probably be a very good example of somebody who did that on a whim and took a bad beating because of such. Just because there's all sorts of things that are bantered around on this aspect of the left that may necessarily be against some other aspect of the left, and people convince themselves of all sorts of ideas and all sorts of arguments and everything else, it's something else to have that argument challenged by somebody who can basically talk back to you and who is quite good at doing so. Sam Seder was part of my political awakening in many respects. Seder, Oberman, Maddow, all of those people, especially during the Bush era, where you had basically this neocon that was bombing a country, invaded another country, killing 1 million Iraqis in office. The catch is, when Obama gets in office, and they're basically not bothered all that much by the stuff that Obama was doing, and I'm talking about just the Democratic Party in general, your perspective changes. And then you get a Sanders, and it's like, oh, right. And fact of the matter is, considering I voted for Ralph Nader, I suppose it was only that needed push to kind of get you over that particular hurdle of looking at the world in somewhat of a different way. Either way, my point remains. I binge watched Sam Seder debating libertarians. It's one of the most interesting things to watch. It is so comical. It is absolutely entertaining, and you can just let it run. And after leaving that, I thought to myself, he is damn good at this. He takes all comers. He does it constantly, every day. And at the point where you do that every day for years on end, you become quite good at it because you don't look like an asshole on your own radio show. Now, there's some people who didn't take that warning. There are others who are smart enough that regardless of what they say, they know better. One of those people is Coldfeet Crowder, debate bro Coldfeet Crowder, who at one time before was supposed to be in a debate with Sam Seder, and Dad came out and said, he's not going to do this. He's not going to do this. And I suspect he wasn't going to do this because he knew what was going to happen to him when he did that. It's one thing to spout your mouth off on your own show. It's another thing to debate people who are, who have, let's say, a particular temperament. It's another thing. To debate somebody that not just dislikes you, but is going to take an active role in trying to embarrass you. And by the way, not going to do it in any kind of, mischievous ways. He's not going to bring in something to slash your tires. He's going to do it entirely through debate to make you look like a complete and utter idiot. That's what he's going to do. That's his objective. That's his goal. And yes, he does have the capability of doing just that because Crowder is an idiot. So, Seder has been trying to debate Crowder for God knows how long. Now, I don't even watch Seder's show, and I know that. Meaning, I remembered the political thing. And not just the political thing. It's not just me. This is H3, is apparently where this was taking place. It's called H3 After Dark. One of the guys that was on H3 show, I think this guy's name is Dan. Listen to what Dan says.
People, but just because I feel like there's a decent chance Steven Crowder will see this, and this will be the only time that I get to say this. Debate Sam Seder, dude. Stop being such a...
Even he knows. Even he knows. It's understood that Crowder has been running away from Seder, despite the fact that Crowder is a debate bro. Meaning Crowder is one of those guys that like to debate people. And I remember he even, if I'm not mistaken, did this to TYT once. Like just kind of rolled up on Jake, trying to push him for a debate out of the blue, an ambush. Crowder goes on a guy's show for a debate.
And then...
Now, the belief is that this is going to be a layup. This is going to be easy. Crowder is perfectly willing to debate this guy. Seder, not so much. Listen, look what happens, though. Seder hunts down Crowder. Now, what I mean by this, after years of being ducked, after years of just, talking from the shadows, talking from behind the scenes, never being willing to actually get on there and debate bro, never being willing to debate, Seder hunts down Crowder. To predictable, entirely hilarious results with debate bro, Coldfeet Crowder, living up to his name. Welcome to the Soapbox. My name is Jamarl Thomas. This is the Progressive Soapbox. Guys, if you dig this content, please like, share, and subscribe. You can always support this content through PayPal or Patreon. This content is brought to you by you, and I appreciate you allowing me to do it. I'm not going to keep this video long. This video is just funny to me. I distinctly remember Crowder refusing to debate Seder. Now, you must understand, if you're in this particular disposition of the web and in news and politics, and in the context of being in news and politics, you have people who are like, on the right, like Crowder, debate bros. I lift weights, I'm Steven Crowder. I have ideas about the world, despite the fact that I don't think about the world. That guy can do a show, and that guy can bring people on into his belief set and everything else, just doing his own show and putting out his own particular political point of view. It's another thing to have that challenge, and it's another thing to have somebody continuously pushing at you in regards to that particular point of view. We have a producer, 22 years old, right wing, comes out of Christian school, and like we made the point to him, we don't really care about your political ideology. We just care that you have a political disposition. We have people who are on the right, left, independent, everything in between. And oftentimes what you find is that regardless of their political disposition and the way they, meaning the slant they give the world, they at least have the capability of arguing the position. And arguing the position, win or lose, arguing the position on some level, being honest about the engagement. Do I believe that is Crowder and his show? No, I don't. No, I don't. And if that person is presented with challenge, especially somebody like Seder, who again has the explicit objective in arguing with him to show him to be a complete imbecile, then Crowder should have concerns if Crowder doesn't believe he could defend his particular point of view and his idea of the world to that same Seder. If two people are playing chess, one guy is 2,000, the other guy is 1,200. The guy that's 1,200 can talk all the shit he wants. You better not get on the game board. And in this very specific case, Crowder, good sense, hauls ass and refuses to debate. But first, a few points. Notice what happens in the beginning. Notice what happens when he finally sees Sam Seder's face. Oh my God, Sam Seder is sitting across from me. I don't know what to do here. Where's my dad? Where's my dad? Dad! Oh God, I can't call for my dad. Let's
Welcome, and I just want to say, I know you called me, you said that I would be a layup.
I think I use something like that.
And I think you're right, because I don't think I'm a very good debater. I think you know that. So I didn't want to make it too easy for you.
Oh, okay.
So I've prepared.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So
Dan,
what we were going to talk about is the initial quote that happened. I think he's looking off there. The initial quote that kind of was turned into a little bit of a meme.
First, notice the fight like hell shirt. Notice the fight like hell shirt. Just want to put that out. Let's keep going.
Which wasn't intentional. And was you saying you don't even have to think about it regarding the CDC?
No. The CDC are basically full of scientists and everything else. From the standpoint I don't have to think about it, I don't think he's saying that I'm just going to automatically, if they tell me take battery acid, take battery acid. But I do think he's saying that from the standpoint of medical research, then yeah, he gives them the benefit of the doubt. I think that's a fair point. But let's keep going. Crowder has an issue with that. Hey, why don't you fight this out with Sam Seder? Sam Seder will probably take the position if you need him to take position. Have at it.
And I disagree with that. I think people should think about it. I believe, and we talked about this through Playful Ribbing, in an aggregation of medical authorities and scientific voices to make an informed and rational decision. So where do you think that I'm wrong on that?
Stephen, do you know that the Spartans are like practice man love with children?
Oh, geez. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. What did I tell you? He was going to do anything he could to avoid. Oh, there he is. Oh no, Sam Seder. What?
Oh, whoa! There he is, Sam Seder.
Oh, what a nightmare!
What a fucking nightmare! Yeah, I bet he is a fucking nightmare for you. Everything that Crowder has ever been afraid of is sitting across from him right now. Sam Seder. Glasses. Regular. Wrinkled shirt. Majority Report. Democratic establishment. Radio web. Sam Seder. And yet, Crowder, fight like hell shirt, in this moment, terrified. Understand again, context. Crowder has been running from dude in the glasses for years. He has been terrified. Debate bro Steven Crowder has been terrified of Sam Seder. Been running everywhere that he could get away from Sam Seder. Even had his dad. Think of how embarrassing that is. Look at his muscles. Look at all those muscles. And can't help him at all. Not one muscle can help him at all. The muscle that he needs, I suppose, is the brain, but, muscle head. In this very specific situation, he's fucked. He knows it. What do you do here, Crowder? What's the way out? Meaning, you have a few options. There's implicit pressure here, right now, in this moment. And he knows it. He feels it immediately. What a fucking nightmare. Yes, it's a fucking nightmare. What are your options? You can debate him, have this fight. You can run, get out of Dodge. And the catch is, both of those things entails risk. Not just both of those things entails risk. Both of those things, on some level, entails somewhat of a problem for you. If you win the debate, no issue. You look amazing. Not only did Sam Seder hunt you down to get his ass kicked, you can go on your show, you can chest thump. He hunted me down, and look what happened to him. You can do all that. Chest thump, everything. That entails confidence. That entails somebody who believes that they can win the position in the argument. That's what that entails. It still entails risk, because even the best debater can lose. On the other side, you can run. That also entails risk, because you look like a coward running. And you would have to come up with an excuse to justify getting the fuck out of Dodge. And not just getting the fuck out of Dodge, dodging and ducking Seder for 5 years. If you are that magnificently confident in whatever particular position you take on your show, and if you have a show, I'd imagine you have to be confident about it on some level. Why is he so terrifying to you? I've begged Sam Seder to come on my show to debate, especially about the election stuff. He avoids me too, but I suppose that's because I have a smaller show. In your particular situation, if I was you, I would be ecstatic. I'd be ecstatic in this moment. I get to debate fucking Sam Seder. And I'm going to hand Sam Seder his ass because I'm not debating Sam Seder on anything that I think I'm going to lose on. You, on the other hand, there's apparently nothing you're willing to have that conversation about. Let's keep going. This isn't over. Sam, he's like, what a fucking nightmare. And it goes here. Do you think Coldfeet Crowder sits down to have the debate, or do you think Coldfeet Crowder leaves?
I thought Ethan was a stand-up guy. This is where we are. Yeah, I told Dave, remember I told you? I said, I guarantee you he's going to do anything he can to avoid the debate.
Well, I just think he believes that he should debate you.
No, he doesn't. He just takes advantage of women with, mental health issues.
Steven,
Ethan Klein doesn't stand up and do to his own
I
fighting.
gotta say,
It's just hilarious. Let's bring on FM.
You would do anything to avoid talking to me. I think the point that you make
Yes,
is
Joe Rogan.
Also, I want to point something else out here. Steven Crowder doesn't have a fucking leg to stand on and complaining, oh, Sam Seder invaded my show. Steven Crowder does this himself. So there's that. So yeah, let's ignore the hypocrisy part. On top of that, you are basically bitching at the other guy about a debate while simultaneously trying to avoid and doing everything in your power to avoid a debate with Sam Seder, while simultaneously saying that you knew that the other guy was going to do everything in his power to avoid debating you. Fight like hell shirt. All those muscles. None of them can help him in this moment.
Joe Rogan and Dave Rubin and Jordan Peterson and Noam Chomsky and Sam Harris. Everyone's been avoiding.
And not just attempting to get your audience by jumping in.
Well, I debated with Charlie Kirk. Steven, I mean, it's about issues. Let's talk about those issues.
That's what you're doing here.
Valid points.
You're so clever. I had no idea that you were taking your show off early last time, coming in today with your pig pen peanuts on.
I wish everything.
You take those off for the velveteen buttons.
Notice, under no circumstances is he willing to have this conversation. Now, there's a catch though. Sam Seder acts the same way. Sam Seder's show acts the same way. And I don't want to bring in Brooks because Brooks is past. But when Brooks was on the show, and I strongly suspect when Emma Vigeland, she's on there now, and what the other people that are on the show, when people call in, all of them used to join in and joke and laugh and make all that noise and everything else, which means that any notion of having any level of a debate gets kind of sidelined because all of the clown car, that's part of the show. So I don't feel bad for Sam Seder in this case. Sam Seder is jumping into somebody else's debate, and in jumping into somebody else's debate, he's getting a taste of his own medicine. No fucking concern in the least. It is, however, you should pay attention to the fact that all of this is obfuscation so Crowder can avoid having any conversation with the man that he is terrified of in the glasses. Sam Seder knows it.
Been
Black
very worried
eyes,
about
aren't
this,
they? Like
Stephen.
it.
I don't know why.
No one's worried about it. I didn't want to do it.
Let's have the
Sam,
debate.
come
If
on.
no one's
I'll tell you
worried,
what. I
let's
have a
do this.
general.
This is a
rule.
great opportunity.
I don't start a debate based with people on a lie. And how about you get
sabotaging?
How about you get
Steven,
to
show yourself, you coward. Steven, show yourself. Don't show your co-host.
Ethan, you should.
He is not even showing himself anymore. He's not even showing himself. He's hiding. He's hiding. Look at this. All of those muscles. And he decided to put his co-host on camera to avoid being on camera with Seder. Let that settle for a moment. Let that sink in for a moment. He's basically throwing his co-host out. He's the star of the show. He's throwing his co-host. He doesn't even have the stones, the balls to stand there. It's shocking how terrified he is of Sam Seder. I'm just shocked by that. That's all. And look, the only reason you would ever be terrified of Sam Seder is if you don't believe you can hold your own with Sam Seder. Whatever you think of Crowder, meaning if you're somebody who is watches the show, you think he is awesome. You think the bro stuff is great, whatever that is. You should have concerns if the person who you are watching, giving your somewhat adulation to, giving your point of view over to, if that individual can't stand there and have a goddamn conversation. And not just a goddamn conversation, seems to be utterly and indelibly terrified. And this is not just this moment. There's a context that goes back years. The point that I'm making.
Ethan, how can you respect yourself as a man, brother?
Steven, you are such a coward. Stop showing your little leprechaun co-host who comes out dressed like your sidekick.
They're calling him a coward. You coward. You coward. You coward. You coward. Where are you running to, you coward? That's embarrassing. Seder, if you want to debate, right here, dog. Right here. No issue at all. What do you want to talk about? Talk to me about it, whatever you want to talk to me about. We can fight, we can argue, we can do all that stuff. I will be the individual that would stand there instead of Crowder. Hell, I would even play devil's advocate and take Crowder's position to debate you on. Meaning, I will take the Crowder position in order for you to have some level of an actual debate, since Crowder is too goddamn terrified to do so. And no, I'm not a right-winger. However, I probably can give you a better right-wing debate than Crowder could. I'll leave this here. I mean, honestly, that's embarrassing. I mean, look, we are on YouTube, right? And part of that is bumping around with various ideas and points of view. People like Seder, people like Crowder, people who are, I guess you could say, part of the YouTube community, especially dealing with like radio and dealing with bringing in people and guests and everything else, especially people with strong political points of view. They have a tendency, not all of us, or not everybody, to bump those points of view against each other, especially in the context of audience. The problem is that if you lose that debate, what does it do to your audience? That's what the issue is. It's not that Crowder is terrified of losing a debate to Sam Seder if they were just in a bar by themselves having a conversation. It's that Crowder has a following. That following is his paycheck. And if that paycheck is diminished because he looks like an asshole and at debating people realize he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about, then Crowder is hurt by that. Crowder knows that. Crowder is not going to take the risk financially to have that debate with Sam Seder. That's the beginning and that's the end of it. That's the honest to God truth of it. And I'm saying this is somebody who's had debates with people who never aired those debates because they lost those debates. And the people who watched the show for a while know exactly who on the left, supposedly, I'm talking about. I'm going to say like, I'm going to say share, and I'm going to say subscribe. Thanks all. I'll see you guys.